everyone, welcome to our channel. My name is Vani, and today I'll again have Kamaljeet over here, and we'll be discussing the book Life in the Multiverse. And today we'll be talking about chapter 2. And we'll probably break it off into two different two different episodes, just because it's so long and there's so much to cover. Diving right in. Hi, Kamaljeet. How are you?
Hi, Vani. Thank you for having me again. Yes, you said it very correctly. It is a journey into higher dimensions. Chapter 2 from Life in Multiverse is a very intense chapter. We will try to cover, I think we may not have that much time, but we will try to cover as much as possible, probably. Hopefully your questions will cover the entire chapter, but let's dive. Ask me.
Okay, so
I'll do
we'll
my
dive
best.
right in. Starting with, so we were talking about souls, and I remember asking you about different dimensions and what was the highest dimension and all of that for souls. So speaking of that, so when you're talking about souls traveling to a higher dimension, do they recognize their true self and their real power that they actually hold? And if they do, then what is holding them back?
Yeah, interesting question. Yes, we were talking about that's when we left that souls travel to the higher dimensions, and that's how we are trying to look into the, what are these higher dimensions about? So it is, the attachment to the material world. Material world is the physical world that we are living in now. This world is of 5 elements. I will talk about the 5 elements too. And in this, we can, in this physical world, we live and experience life as it is. And this also gives us an opportunity to, live well, think well, do good things. So we consider it to be real and true, but we must realize that this is not the case. It is not a real world. It is a world of illusion, or it is also called Maya, commonly known as Maya, from like in most of the Sanatan Dharam, or you can say Hindu philosophies. In fact, now it is globally accepted. Illusion is Maya. In all languages, they are using that word. So what we are not seeing that is invisible to the physical senses is probably more real. That is the way, that's the best I can describe. And our thoughts and actions, creating karma, that they pull us down. Because when we are performing an action, we get attached to it. We think, we think too much into that action. And that is one of the biggest causes that pulls us down, and our energy is depleted, or you can say it is lost. And I hope, I sincerely hope that I can do justice to the overview of each chapter here while we are talking. I want to emphasize on this because this book is so very detailed, and in a conversation like this, it is not possible to give out too much of detail. It is an overview. I encourage our viewers to definitely read the book, Life in Multiverse. It is also available on YouTube. There is one, I know one lady by the name of Jill Patel. She has a channel in English, and she has read the book in English. It is a complete book. And the link to download the book also we have provided in the video links.
Okay. Yeah. So this lady, she has like an audible version of it, like just
yes, it is an audible version on the YouTube. Her name is Jill Patel, and the channel, if you Google Jill Patel Life in Multiverse, if you in the video search, you can YouTube, you will find her. Jill Patel Life in Multiverse. You will find her English audio on that. So she speaks beautifully. So it is a good one. And the other is another series of videos that I have shared with you, and we will put the link again. So these are very helpful, but let us talk. there is this detailed course of the video link also I have provided. So below
Okay.
the video, and you can find it. So, I think this is about it. What holds the soul back to move into the higher dimensions and feel light?
Mm-hmm.
It is this attachment to the action, to the enjoyment of life, fun in life, and attachment to the outcome of the action too. Like, I've done this thing
Yeah.
good, I should get some good result. I did this thing for this person, but I didn't get that thing back. So the intention is
Yeah.
to receive. So Bapuji says, do Nishkama Karma, means do not expect an outcome. Do not expect a positive or a negative result. Do not have any expectation. Do what you must do. It is important to take action.
Mm-hmm.
So that is important. And then also work on yourself through this. This is called Gyan Marg. That
Mm-hmm.
means learn. And it is also based a lot on the Bhagavad Gita. It is an ancient sacred scriptures from the Hindu um, texts, and people follow that. It is a way to live life. So yeah, so this is what I can say.
Okay, so just to summarize, when the soul does pass over, what's happening is it's attached to the is attached to being human, basically. It's attached to being happy and all the all the benefits that we get as a human being on the good side, and then the outcomes as well. That's interesting. Does the soul know that it is entrapped in this, or it just like, so for example, if we're learning about this, is my soul also learning about this, or will it forget after I die?
Your soul is always aware.
Okay.
It is the physical body and the physical experiences that are layered upon the soul. They form layers of disruption. They form layers, adding veils to the soul.
Yeah.
So your physical mind is not able to comprehend the truth.
Mhm.
And it is always distracting the truth, distracting the soul from the truth, from your connection with the ultimate truth.
Yeah.
So to clear off the veil of these distractions, there are many, many layers. Bapuji has explained in great detail that how difficult it is to clear the moment you create a thought of some action and reaction, you have already added another veil. You have sent in an
Yeah.
intention.
Mhm.
So to clear all that, it does take work. It takes knowledge. So you have to consciously, like we are talking now, you are gaining some knowledge, and this is going to clear some part of your destructive energy, because it is being replaced by knowledge and information. And then you are likely to take some action on this, that okay, I heard this and I need to change something about myself. And this is how I have also learned that, like I learned and then I consciously practiced. Distractions come and I have to tell my mind that no, this is not the right thing. I don't want to be attached here. So yeah, so you have to consciously put in that work and effort.
Okay. Good to know. So the next question I have here is, scientists have been researching the higher worlds are creations of different dimensions, parallel universes, multiverse theory, string theory, which I love, and another super string theory, which I don't know about. But these concepts of like 10 dimensions in space-time, etc. What are the dimensions, as you two mentioned in the first chapter, are we discussing here?
Yeah, I also want to share a little about our solar system, galaxies, universes, great universes, multiverse have their own lifespan, first of all, to come, because this, like I said, this book is so intense, and more revelation that has been there from Bapuji. will come in the later chapters. A lot of this information is also from the ancient texts and literature that has been available in the form of our Vedas and Shastras. These are books of knowledge.
Yeah.
And all these multiverses have their own lifespan as per Bapuji's knowledge of this infinite cosmos, which, like I said, we will delve into further as well. And he has explained in this in great detail in his book, one of the initial books he wrote many, many years ago. The book is called Anant Mahakal Pralay. The title means boundless and immeasurable cosmic time forces leading to ultimate dissolution. Ultimate dissolution is the annihilation of the entire, that is, we are talking about galaxies, solar system, universes. So it's an entire dissolution. There are different stages of that. So he has explained that.
So he does agree that there are other universes.
Yeah.
Beyond ours, because there is like he's talking about a lot more.
Yeah, he has physically, he has seen, and he is not only talking about the solar system, which is already known. We already know about the galaxies. We already know about the universe. But he's talking about.
We can't see beyond that at this time.
He's talking about great multiple universes. And these universes are a part of a bigger unit that is called a multiverse. That one multiverse with millions of these universes is a part of a greater multiverse. There are many multiverses like that. Only a fraction of this has been recognized and seen and maybe studied by the scientists and as per the explorations.
Well, we did was it the JWT, the James Webb Telescope that was
that is still.
Yeah, well, like one of the theories was that there were galaxies even before the Big Bang. So before our universe, there were galaxies already before it even formed, or or they were formed very quickly. So I think we're all like learning step by step, but like Bapuji seems to have a more comprehensive understanding and seems to be a little bit more forward with or ahead of our time. Because a lot of philosophies and theories that were previously hundreds of years ago that were not, you couldn't prove it scientifically. You couldn't measure things at that time. But there were people, philosophers that could somehow say that there is an atom. There was no way to measure an atom, at that time. But then back in Greece, so many centuries ago, someone did say that. Forgive me, I don't know. But then maybe he's one of these people that is seeing things, beyond what we understand at this time.
So let me tell you, Bapuji has gone a little, scientists are far behind. Scientists are far behind Bapuji's. We will talk about his, he's beyond enlightenment, because he's experiencing, he's there, and he is here in the physical form. And he has virtually actually seen, been a part of it, lived that. And that is how he has described what we will learn in the later chapters. And what scientists and the telescopes and all, whatever they have made, is still a very, very limited version of the physical thing that they can see. Most of this is not seen as yet. Bapuji has said that after many years, they might be able to develop something again with the help of subtle beings. There will be some people, subtle beings, some people call them as aliens, support from aliens, things like that. We might be seeing things happening very soon on our planet, that communication. That is what he has said.
Well, we have so many conspiracy theories about aliens, whether they've landed on Earth or not. So I'll be excited to learn more about that chapter. I think.
Yes, we will come to that. These are, and in fact, even in this chapter, there is a lot of, I will say, numerical information and the size and the time the celestial degrees, the power of the various planes, the distance of the various planes has been given, which I'm not going to discuss because it will make the episode very
Yeah.
long and one can't focus with that.
On all of
So
that,
we will
yeah.
go with the generic, so that a person gets interested to, know what is the overview and then study more into it, right? So it is important. So what happens is it is important to understand about time when we are talking about the the immeasurable cosmic time forces that impact, that create destruction of all the that is there in the cosmos. So understanding time is also called Kaal. So it flows differently in different dimensions of the solar system. Like, I'll give you an example. Even if when we are talking about time, even when we are going from on our planet, we fly from east to west or north to south. There is time variation, fly in flight, the time is
Yeah,
different.
true.
It is obvious that in various when you're going beyond planet Earth, in space time is entirely different how it works.
Yeah, yeah.
So in ancient scriptures of
Just proven,
knowledge,
which we know for a fact.
yeah. So in ancient scriptures like we have Shastras and Vedas, they have explained about 14 layers of creation, right? Which are called bhuvans or lokas. Lokas is the level or the realms. So they exist in our solar system, and this solar system is also known as the Brahman. There are clear differences in the speed of time on each dimension. There is very distinct, difference in time. And to understand, like I already explained that on planet Earth, we can see the time difference, from longitude, latitudes are there. They all already, classify the time difference and this degree of time difference. So coming to the dimensions, we can start with our planet Earth. And it is this planet Earth is known as Bhuloka.
Now you mentioned something about Bhuloka. So it's Bhulok. Could you tell me more about that? Was that a dimension you mentioned, or I didn't get that right.
So our planet Earth is known as the Bhuloka. And here we have the body of 5 elements, our body is physical body is made of 5 elements, basic elements, made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These are the generally known as the 5 elements of which the body is made of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, okay. So when he's saying Bhulok, then he's saying he means the 5 elements altogether. That's Earth. That is
Earth is Earth is made up of the 5 elements, right? Because we have fire here, we have air here, we have water here, we have the earth, that is the earth element itself, and the ether element is there.
Yeah.
So these are the 5 elements that comprise, and even the physical bodies. They comprise of all these elements. Like our body is made up of all these elements. And once the soul leaves the body, it leaves the earth body. Yeah, it leaves the earth body. It leaves. It doesn't have water element in it. It doesn't have any more of the earth element in it. These 2 elements are left behind.
Okay. So then we'll dive into the third question. I know in the ancient story of Mahabharata, I believe there is a lot of archaeological and documented evidence available to prove that it is true, where Sri Krishna impacts similar knowledge on the battlefield in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. So could you tell me more about that?
Yeah, yes. Sri Krishna, he's a legendary, by many people known as, God in a way. Some people call him an avatar, or, so, and this is a legendary, and actually now there is very strong evidence that is available about the story of Mahabharat, where the 100 princes fought against the 5 princes, Kauravas and Pandavas, and Sri Krishna had to play a very major role there.
Yeah.
And he was
I
definitely.
remember in the older, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but then when I was younger, I would watch the Mahabharatas every day on Sunday in the morning in India. And then was it the episode where Lord Krishna comes with the huge thing? Was that Krishna? And
Yes,
then
yes.
he's like really big, and then he like does something to the war that's happening, and then I think the Pandavas are losing, or
Yeah, it's a very
so he does
long
something.
story. One must see all the episodes where the drama was very well
Oh
created,
yeah.
and one must really watch
Yeah, all
the
the memories
series.
are coming back right
Yeah,
now.
it is beautiful. It has been
Yeah.
beautifully described, but then, yes. So, Sri Krishna is not just a mythological figure. He was probably, there are many, many evidences, scientific evidences, archaeological evidences that he was there. And so he tells Arjun when the battle was on and Arjun becomes weak. Arjun was one of the Pandava brothers, and he knows he doesn't want to fight a war, go into war with his cousins. He knows the cousins are wrong. He knows they are powerful, and he is not worried about that. He's worried about his own relationship with them because it's life and he's related to them. So Sri Krishna is trying to encourage in this conversation with him, and it has been, it has been recorded in the form of a text that is called the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
And this discourse is beautiful, and it is the story of life and how to live life, how to take action in life. Every child must read that book. It is a privilege to read it. I had it in my childhood. In my school, they gave us a small booklet, and I never learned it. It was probably read in the classes. I don't remember, but I never really, till I didn't grow, a
Yeah.
little bit older in my college, and then I started getting into it slowly, bit by bit, and
Yeah.
I really realized the importance of this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it clearly, here again, Krishna is telling that they have gone through many lives together. They have been born in many lives together. They have taken many births. But Krishna remembers this, and Arjun does not. He's forgotten because he's attached. He's still concerned about his family. He's always attached to the physical world, and that is why when he takes rebirth, he doesn't remember because he's always attached, so that he's not able to recall. So you
Yeah.
have to be a very pure minded soul, not to have any attachments, to remember. So it clearly explains the difference between the two. And Shri Krishna is enlightened to the truth, and he again, like I said, it's not about, he does not have any attachments to the physical body, and therefore is not restricted by the limitations. Physical body
Yeah.
has a limitation. Mind will travel various places, as you know, but when you're in a physical body, you cannot fly off just like that, right? So this is just a very stray example, but just to explain what I'm saying. So this is where Arjun was, that he was restricted by the limitations of the physical body. And that is why being in, soul consciousness and gaining the knowledge is very important. This spiritual knowledge about yourself and even about various, the earthly planes and planes beyond the earth and the multiverse is very important, so that you know where you are coming from. You have come beyond the multiverses from a very superior place, and you've forgotten.
Yeah.
So our attachments and strong identification to the physical body is called as vasana.
Yeah.
And these vasanas always restrict, they stop you from remembering your past birth and gaining knowledge and being in soul consciousness. And it is also known as being in Atma Swaroop, you know, is important. And that's how we gain a sense of our own being, our true self. So we will learn about this as we progress in our conversation further, you know, like, because it is so much. And I'm also learning, you know, while I'm talking to you, I'm also learning side by side.
Okay. So then my next question is, what is above our earth? The Bhuloka?
Yes, so we are currently on planet Earth,
Yeah.
and which is called the Bhuloka. And then there are dimensions or levels, you know, beyond the Earth that is there.
Yeah.
And above our Bhuloka is the first higher dimension. It is called the Bhuvarloka. And this Bhuvarloka is between our planet Earth and the sun. And it is also known as the Pitru Loka. Or you can also call it as the land of our ancestors, you know, like those who were our fathers, forefathers, they are not there, they are now in the spirit form. And where they travel, they have to be in a certain state of life to travel to Pitru Loka as well.
Yeah.
So this astral plane has about 5 main layers of planes. Then we'll talk about the planes of these 5 planes later on.
Okay.
And so many souls, that's why, who are stuck on earth, you know, in our earthly realm, once the body, you know, dies and the soul has left the body, some are stuck in the earthly realm because they are very deeply connected to their families, to the pleasures or their anger, whatever that connected them to earth, right? So, but there are certain souls who could manage to travel and leave this to a certain extent by doing their good deeds. They went into the ancestral realm or the Pitru Loka. So, and beyond this Pitru Loka, is also there is a place that you were talking about, you know, heaven. So that heaven is the Swargaloka. So people, you know, souls who have performed very good deeds and served humanity, they led pious lives on earth while they were living, and then after they died, they have the power and the capacity to travel to a higher plane beyond Pitrulok. They go into the Swargaloka. And even deities, good souls and deities, you know, reside there. And so one can also say that your good fortune over there, you will be there as long as your good fortune lasted you. Then you are back on earth. You know, so this doesn't take you out of the cycle of birth and death, but you have a better, happy life. You know, one can enjoy the fruits of their good deeds in the Swargaloka. It's supposed to be a very enchanting place, very beautiful. You have things at will, lots of fun, and it's a beautiful place. And they have the souls here have a lighter body, like on planet Earth. We have our body is made of 5 elements.
Yeah.
Right? When the body leaves, then as it's traveling to the higher planes, the body becomes lighter, and it has 3 elements.
So I know you mentioned in the beginning that when we are on earth, we have the 5, and then when we leave, our soul leaves earth, we're not made out of 2 elements, but then you didn't mention the other 3, and I was looking at fire, and you said we don't have
elements. The 5 elements on earth, you know, on with the earthly body. The 5 elements are the earth, water element, fire element, air,
and
ether.
Yeah.
But when a body dies, when the soul has left,
Mm-hmm.
It is left with 3 elements. The earth
Yeah.
body and the water element has gone, because that adds weight to the
Okay.
body. So and as and when a soul is traveling to the higher body, higher
Yeah.
realms,
Mm-hmm.
these elements become more and more pure, and they become more and more light. So,
Yeah.
so they become purer as they rise. They are becoming more purer, and they are also called superior elements. But the elements remain the same. They
Okay.
will have impurities in them. We will discuss about that later.
Mm-hmm.
And these elements are called tattvas.
Yeah.
And these the 3 elements are fire, Agni, and fire. Fire, that is called Agni, right?
Air and ether.
And air is Vayu,
Mm-hmm.
and ether is called the Akash element.
Okay.
So we have Agni, Vayu, and Akash, or fire, air, and ether. Okay.
What does ether mean?
Ether is very, it's also, it's space. You can say it is space.
Wait.
Space, S-P-A-C-E.
Space.
Space.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the ether. Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
know. Okay. Yeah.
So, so as when one moves into the higher realms, the quality of these elements, like I said, becomes very pure. It becomes purer at each plane,
Mhm.
as in when one is working towards improving and moves towards enlightenment, gaining
Mhm.
full knowledge of self.
Mhm.
These elements also become purer.
Yeah.
And the true nature of the soul is, it realizes that the true nature of the soul is love, purity, and supreme peace. In fact, Bapuji has spoken about supreme peace in great detail.
Yeah.
He talks about Paramshanti. He says that the moment you say Paramshanti,
Mhm.
you're calling for supreme peace, and
Yeah.
supreme peace, you're calling your own soul, because the
Mhm.
basic nature of this, our soul is supreme peace.
Yeah.
And so when you, chant, or you repeat the mantra Paramshanti, it's a
Mhm.
different mantra also, but we will start with Paramshanti here. So it is calling for supreme peace, reminding the soul of its true self.
Right.
So, however, the quality deteriorates as the souls are caught up in the continuous cycle of birth and death because of these thoughts and attachments, right?
Yeah.
And it has been since 1.8 billion years on Earth. The souls on Earth, they are
Yeah.
so much stuck. Yeah.
So you're saying that were all souls created at the same time?
Uh, I will not say same time. When we will talk about the creation from the root of all creation, from
Yeah.
the source point, then
Yeah.
we will come. Because at different stages, like you said, there was a big bang and all that.
Yeah.
So there was galaxies before. So we will
Yeah.
talk about that in the later chapters, because it will be going back and forth. Let's
Okay.
start from a stage so that we grow up, and then we come down again.
Okay. Thank you. So the next question I have is, how does one realize the supreme peace of the soul?
Yeah, so like I said, we will continue to delve into this bit by bit. So,
Yeah.
God realized state of supreme consciousness is to attain moksha.
Yeah.
Moksha is again to come into a God realized state, right? How to do
Mhm.
that? By leaving all the worldly desires and attachment. It's not like becoming a Buddha and sitting in isolation. It
Yeah.
is not about that,
Mhm.
but it is being in constant awareness.
Okay.
Because now during ancient times, people had at a certain age, a person would be studying in school in their gurukuls, and then they would be in a stage of getting married, having their families. Then
Mhm.
they would accomplish what they need to. Then they would leave and go into the
Mhm.
forest for meditation. Last stage of their life was spirituality.
Mhm.
So world now has moved far. The stages of life have changed. People are
Mhm.
very busy. So it has to become a part of your daily practice.
Yeah.
You have to remain yourself and tell yourself consciously that you need to improve yourself, you need to learn, and you have to be responsible and perform your duties. But at the same time, do not be attached too much to the action and the result of that. The
Yeah.
doing is okay, because like I mentioned, I think today or previously, that Bapuji says, do Nishkama Karma, means don't have any expectations, do.
Yeah.
And don't do anything that is going to harm somebody. Knowingly doing something harm is not good. So like, be very conscious of your actions. That is why the Bhagavad Gita has a very important role in everyone's life,
Yeah.
and it is gaining more popularity also in the world. And that's how I also realized it was important for us to read when we were younger. So, it's important to be in soul conscious state, be in Atma Swaroop, and while fulfilling your, responsibilities and duties, one must take time to introspect, means take time, sit down, patiently sit by yourself in peace and meditate to continue to improve oneself. Reflect on yourself. What did you do right? What did you do wrong?
Yeah.
Reflect and take time. And he gives his own example.
Yeah.
He was a very successful, established lawyer. He was an income tax lawyer above that. It's a
Oh, wow. So
difficult
that's
task.
like a very high position in India, right?
Yes,
For
yes,
being.
absolutely. There's a lot of work, not a position, but there's a lot of work involved, because you're dealing with money
Yeah.
and people who could suffer a lot, businesses that could fail, collapse, because if they lost certain things.
Yeah.
So he said that he used to fight and challenge court cases based by being in that soul conscious Atma Swaroop condition, and he would
Yeah.
get the realization, he would perform the actions which were correct and which would appease the court and the client. And he has won many cases, and he said even he could study and understand everything. What would take 1 hour would take him 10 minutes. Like,
Okay.
he was a realized soul right from childhood. Like I have also mentioned that he always knew, he read Bhagavad Gita at the age of 4. So he was
Wow.
so small when he read that book.
Yeah.
So he was already a soul of the higher realm, and being here. But we know that he is not only a soul from the high; he is beyond what we can comprehend. So we will talk about that. And
Yeah.
he encourages that even students should practice being in soul consciousness, and they will be able to learn very fast. And the whatever they will learn, they will grasp, and it will stay with them.
Yeah. Sounds good. I hope they're listening.
Yes, I hope you are. And I really want to share this with many students. Bapuji has also mentioned in many of his videos. In fact, there are certain key messages which I'm saying, which he has repeated very often in his videos, and it has totally transformed my life.
Yeah.
The way I look at things, the way I do things, and I started feeling lighter. I've started feeling light in my body, physical, mind. Um, I've seen a lot of changes in myself.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah,
I know ever since you've been reading this book and stuff, like you've been a lot happier, and you've got more light in you, and then you talk about everything with so much passion.
yeah. Thank you for noticing that. I'm glad you mentioned it. Makes me feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that new energy come in. Going to the next question. So in order to realize all this, does one have to be a superhuman being, or are there superhuman beings? Like, because it seems like there's so much work involved and so much of learning and just so much sacrifice and letting go of so many things. So
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting question. You have to be a human being.
yeah.
And a superhuman being is again a very relative term.
Yeah.
Being born on earth plane as a human soul, it is a privilege itself. You
Yeah.
know, there are souls are born as animals and insects and plants. So they come in any form, right? Anything can happen. But you are born in a human body, in the human form. So itself is a privilege. And it is praised by great saints and sages. You know, I think almost in every practicing religion or culture, they say it's a privilege. It's been said in many scriptures that being born a human it comes with a responsibility. It gives you an opportunity to transform your life, and it is a privilege because you have everything. You know, you can enjoy, you can do what you want to do, you can create, and you can check yourself. So it is greater than being in Swargaloka. Like I said, those souls who did good deeds went to Swargaloka could be sent back to planet Earth because they lose all the good fortune because their greed never ends. You know, if you are doing good all the time and then you're expecting good, um, one fine day you will find yourself. So you have to detach yourself because you have the ability to take the right action, right? And polish yourself day by day, introspect, and do what you need to. Your soul knows the truth. You know, we talk about gut feeling. It's just going a little bit away from the book. But we all have a gut feeling, and your gut feeling is always good. It is honest, and it will always tell you when you're doing something wrong. You will have a sense telling you if you are on the right path. It will always tell you that this is something that you don't want to do, and so you must listen to that. Listen to your soul, talk to your soul, and that is how gradually you will become in soul consciousness. And we are soul, so gain the knowledge of true self. It's important to constantly remind ourselves to know who we are. We must know who are we. We are a soul, but recognize that. Recognizing that is a very important aspect. We are souls, we are powerful, and to remember means to detach from attachments of the material world. So outcome, and you have to attachment means the outcome of whatever good and bad. So we have to move away from that, take the action, but move away from the outcome of that, and merge oneself with the supreme soul. Ultimately, we have a creator. Like you were born of parents, you have a mother. So likewise, the soul has a creator. So, and different souls have different creators. We will talk about it. Like we said, we will talk about it. And one must merge with the supreme soul, that is Param Brahma Parmeshwar. Param Brahma Parmeshwar is all the ultimate of all creation, right? So you don't have to be a superhuman being, but you can evolve, you can polish yourself and grow from there, by reminding
Work every
yourself.
day. Yeah, bit by
You
bit.
are already a super soul. You only have to remind yourself.
So, the next question we have is, what is next after Swargaloka? So we've discussed the first two or three, I think. So we'll go back from the first one and then we'll go to the end, that's Swargaloka.
Yeah. So so we were in Swargaloka when there was the earthly realm. There's this earth plane. Right above that is the realm of the ancestors, that is the Pitru Loka, right? And above that is the Bhuvarloka, right? And then we come to the place of the heaven, that is the Swargaloka. And then is the Mahar Loka. Mahar Loka is also a place of where very highly evolved saints and sages reside. They meditate there, and you must see and what does this place look like? Also, Bapuji has explained a lot
Mm-hmm.
on these different places.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be too much of information if I discuss too much in detail also about each one of these lokas also in
Mm-hmm.
detail, but definitely read the book.
Yeah.
So Maharlok is part of the 7 higher planetary systems. This Maharlok where, and this is between the pole star and the pole star, or it is also called the Dhruv Lok.
Yeah.
And it is where all these souls group together and meditate together, and they have a very fine, subtle body.
Okay.
Here have a very fine, subtle body, and the 3 elements are of a superior quality. We were talking about the, 3 elements of fire.
So now we have
and
ether,
ether.
air, and fire.
Yeah. So these are of very superior quality, and here, many souls from different galaxies and other solar systems also come here.
Yeah.
And they could be male and female both, and they together meditate. They're still in that in the we are talking about male and female.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are these attributes, but they meditate together and in soul consciousness. But when there is a great dissolution, whenever there is a dissolution, that is the annihilation of the entire planetary system,
Mm-hmm.
or the parts of the cosmos, then this is also called as the Kalpa Pralay.
Mm-hmm.
These souls get to know before because they are so evolved. So they don't want to stay because they'll be burnt to death, right? And there's an annihilation
Yeah.
or a dissolution. The place is on fire and they leave,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the capacity of doing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. So then my next question for you is like, when we're talking about these souls traveling, and you also mentioned that there's a shift in their residences and stuff. What did you mean at that time when you said that?
And I didn't mean to that they move residences.
Yeah.
But they move because they move to higher planes because they become more evolved. The souls
Yeah.
become more evolved, they become more enlightened, and their bodies become lighter.
Yeah.
And they are fully aware. They don't talk, they don't eat like that. It is their thought that will give them the flavors, and it is their thoughts that are transmitted. So they travel by thought.
Yeah.
So this is how it is. So they don't shift residences. The situation is like that. Bapuji has explained about the various realms and what
Yeah.
do they look like as well.
Yeah.
So these are these realms and these spaces and planes are of very fine superior elements itself, and they are in the subtle form. These are called the subtle forms, and they simply work with that. They travel with that intention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I believe we're almost at the end. The last question is, what other planes are there? So we've discussed quite a few. So are there any other planes? So you said that in this very last plane, all souls from beyond Earth and other galaxies, they come there and then they meditate and all of that. So is that the end plane?
So there are many dimensions. This Life and Multiverse, the book talks beyond all these realms. These are only what the realms which certain ancient philosophies have spoken about. We have to go beyond that in our further chapters. But still the other planes are there. Above Maharlok is a plane that is called the Janlok, that is also of saints and sages. And but what happens in the Janalok is these saints and sages could be ascended masters. They could be from different religions. You know, they have their own groups there. They meditate together in their own groups. They have family lives there. They have children there. But again, they are in their subtle forms and they have very, very pure elements. They pursue their meditation or sadhana. Meditation is also called sadhana. And you will find, as Bapuji describes, that they have temples over there in the Janalok. They will have temples, they will have mosques, they have churches and any other religious places, depending on the religion of the soul, where it came from. Or there could be ascended masters who have created certain religions. So could be them. So they have their own groups and they pursue that. And you know, also something interesting which I know Bapuji mentioned, at one day in the Janalok is equivalent to the 100 years of planet Earth. And these souls can also impact the earthly systems here. To spread their the awareness of their religion. Like we find that there is a lot of so suddenly a person will start taking some actions, you know, in certain religions, you know, they want to promote that. So where are these thoughts coming from? They get too long from here, Vani. We need to break the video. Do you think? All right, I think we can pause it and start a new video in the next session. Thank you everyone.